There was dust everywhere. The cameras, the security cameras, were hanging by a wire. That beautiful marble, anybody that went into the World Trade Center, remember that marble at the entrance? That was all pulled out, broke into pieces on the floor. And the only thing you saw was the cement patches where the marble was before. I get to the front of the building, the West Side Highway entrance, the main entrance. As I get there, all the glass is broke into pieces. There's not an intact piece of glass anywhere. There's no revolving door either. I get to the front, and all of a sudden I hear, "Don't look back! Don't look back!" The police had the area cordoned out on the World Financial Center, almost a block and a half away, and they're telling me not to look back. And what do you do when they tell you that? I turn around and I look back. And ladies and gentlemen, I saw the bodies of the people that jumped out of the building. I saw like they melted on the floor because of the impact. And that lady from the 33rd floor that I helped to escape, I found it cut in half because a glass came from the top of the building and cut it in half like a guillotine. And I said, "God, what is this? What is this?" And I hear, "Run, run, run." I look at the left side and I see the Marriott Hotel almost gone. Bodies everywhere. And I said, "God, please help me." And the only thing I see is a fire truck in front of the building. And I just slid right under the fire truck, and all of a sudden the building started to destroy itself on top. And you hear, boom, 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 and the truck going down. And all I said at that moment was, "Please don't let my mother see my body in pieces. Let her recognize my body. Please, please." I just didn't want my mother to see what I just saw. There was silence all of a sudden, and this cloud of dust came from all over. And then I said, "I'm not dying of being squashed to death here, but now I'm going to die of asphyxia," because you couldn't breathe. You feel your lungs expanding and contracting. And I said, "This is going to be a slow death." And all I have in my mind was that poor lady cut in half. The most Dantesque thing I ever seen in my life. And at that very moment, I just said, "I'm going to die. This is it." Many of you heard that I was a magician for 30 years. And one of the things that, and I used to do the escape acts, with the straight jackets and all those things. So one of the things they teach you is just, make it last. So that's exactly what I did. I tried to control my breathing. I tried to control my concentration and see what happened. But I was expecting death. Luckily, CNN, Global Vision from Brazil, they were across the street and they pinpointed the area. The last man came out from that area. And that's how they started doing the rescue effort. I was pulled from the rubble. They were confused because I have a jacket that says Safety 11. It looks like a jacket for the fire department. So they thought I was a fireman. So I stayed within the perimeter, continuing looking for people. Remember, and I'm sorry to be graphical, remember I went back to the truck to see if there was anybody there. And I was pulled right at the nick of time because the tires of the truck just blew out when they pulled it out. So I was saved right on time. I went to the area where they had this bridge that connected the North Tower to the World Financial Center. That collapsed on top of fire trucks. I went under. I saw two boots. I pulled the boots. I stayed with the boots in my hand, and when I looked inside, I found the legs of a fireman. And I started screaming, and all the firemen came over. They started to rescue the body because there was nothing else there. And I stayed there for hours. I came out just to get water. And that's when I was grabbed by the news, and that's the news that you saw all over the world during those 3 days when they started interviewing me. And I'm talking about the explosion that I heard, the person on the wheelchair, the whole thing. That day I did not sleep. Neither I did the following day. I was being called from all over the world, round the clock. And the problem was that the lady from Global Vision from Brazil sent a press release with my phone number on it. With my phone number on it. So I was getting calls from Montevideo, from Argentina, from Kuwait, from all over. I'm like, how am I going to pay this bill? Anyway, after they recognized me, during that time I organized the families. I did the Hispanic victims group because I saw that the Hispanic were not getting a equitative and balanced distribution of the funds that were given for the victims. So I went to Congress with a group of families to ask for a commission to be created to investigate 9/11. And as we went over there, you remember that the president said, we don't need an investigation. We know who did it. And that was the wrong thing to say to the families, because then we pushed very hard and we got it. The problem is that we want to have a family member as part of the commission, and they said we don't want to allow that. And they never permitted it. We never had it. Now, we created the Family Steering Committee. We put 167 questions out to the commission. From those, 27 were answered. What happened to the others? Then, I was one of the last persons to testify, but they wanted my testimony behind closed doors. Everybody was testifying on national TV. You remember those hearings? I testified, and up to that moment, I thought they were going to do the right thing until the final report came in. When the final report came in, what a surprise. My testimony wasn't there, even though I was wine and dined by them. 22 people that I put them available, firemen, victims, survivors, that had similar experience, were never called. Ladies and gentlemen, David Lim